Hello, I am Bert Janssen. Welcome back to the series of short videos in which I explain the book, The Organizing Principle, There Are No Coincidences. In the previous video, I talked about synchronicities, events that belong together, that have a meaningful connection, but they do not have a causal connection. Meaning you cannot prove the connection using causality, using the mechanics of cause and effect, using classical science. And although there is no causal connection, the connection is still there, but it does not live in our 3D world. It lives in the realm of synchronicity, in the greater reality. Our 3D world is part of that greater reality, where you also can find pi to its full extent and perfect squaring the circle. And this greater reality is also where absolute knowledge resides. Our unconscious is connected to this greater reality, and this greater reality is connected to our unconscious. With other words, our unconscious is directly connected to absolute knowledge. Once we find our way to our unconscious, absolute knowledge becomes available. Remember how my inner voice, triggered by the crop circle that came down in 2008 at Barbary Castle in Wiltshire, England, how my inner voice said, find your way from the imperfect squaring the circle to the perfect squaring the circle. It was actually saying, find your way from the incomplete conscious mind to the complete unconscious mind. Once we are able to do that, absolute knowledge becomes directly available. Absolute knowledge, be it premonition, precognition, remote viewing, all thinkable answers and even all unthinkable answers can, in certain circumstances, flow freely from the unconscious mind into the conscious mind. Both Carl Gustav Jung and Joseph Banks Rhine noted that this flow is significantly influenced by our state of mind. Our state of mind is crucial. In the second video, we have seen that if our state of being, which is directly connected to our state of mind, expresses itself from the deepest levels, it will do that in shapes and geometries. These so-called mandalas are not inventions of our conscious mind. They have a reality of their own and are nearly always based on fourfold geometry with squaring the circle at its core. Since these mandalas are expressions from our deepest levels of our unconscious, they can be considered archetypal. And with that, squaring the circle as well. According to Jung, the fourfold archetypal aspect is connected to 4 being 3 plus 1. Like the evangelists, whereby 3 are represented by an emblem of an animal and 1 by an emblem of a human being. Or the greater reality, consisting of the triad of classical physics, space, time and causality, our 3D reality, plus 1 being synchronicity, whereby the 1 contains the 3. Our 3D world is contained by the greater reality. When it comes to the archetypal aspect of squaring the circle, Jung writes, "The squaring the circle is one of the many archetypal motives which form the basic patterns of our dreams and fantasies. But it is distinguished by the fact that it is one of the most important of them from the functional point of view. Indeed, it could even be called the archetype of wholeness." In other words, squaring the circle is the archetype of wholeness. Squaring the circle, contained in mandalas, is used by our unconscious to communicate with us from its deepest levels. And it works also the other way around. We can use squaring the circle to talk back. But before I get to that, I want to share something else. Around 1926, Jung discovers that analytical psychology coincides in a most curious way with alchemy. Jung writes, "I had stumbled upon the historical counterpart of my psychology of the unconscious. The possibility of a comparison with alchemy and the uninterrupted intellectual chain back to Gnosticism gave substance to my psychology." Jung realized that his mandalas had an equivalent in alchemy, called the lapis, the stone of the wise, or philosopher's stone. In the following video, I will elaborate on this connection and show you an aspect of this philosopher's stone that you very likely did not know. I see you there.